Our previous calculations for both the present value and the future value, we expected or we anticipated that the interest was compounded on a yearly basis or discounted on a yearly basis, depending on what you're trying to calculate. And basically, we mean that the interest is applied once throughout the year at the end of the year. So all those previous lectures that you saw was under the idea that the interest only occurred one time at the end of the year. But we understand that some investments, the interest occurs much more than one time. The interest occurs multiple times throughout the years. So you could have examples where interest could occur twice, semi-annually. You could have examples where interest could occur 4 times out the year, quarterly, every 3 months. And so you need to be prepared on how to calculate or how the calculation will be changed due to interest being applied more frequently than once a year, right? And so here's the rule of thumb. Interest applied more than once a year. If interest is, how about that, apply more than once a year, then you have to make some adjustments with your factors. Your interest and your number of periods need to be adjusted. So what happens to your number of periods? Your number of periods get multiplied by the frequency. Frequency, basically saying if it's semi-annual, how frequent will interest apply in a year? Twice. So that N, the number of periods or the number of years, has to get adjusted by multiplying it times the frequency, which in that example would be 2. You also need to adjust your interest. Your interest needs to be adjusted as well. Your interest is going to get divided by the frequency. Your interest is going to get divided by the frequency. Okay? And so that's pretty much how you're going to go by handling situations where interest is being compounded monthly, semi-annually, or quarterly. Right? So let's look at an example. Make sure you guys write that. So let's look at this example. Let's assume that we have 10%. And 10% is going to be the present value. Let's say 10% is the present value. What am I talking about? Sorry. Let's say 10,000 is the present value. Let's say 10% is the interest. Let's say we have 10 years. And let's say that it is semi-annually. Let's say it's semi-annually. Alright? So obviously if they're giving us the present value, we would simply have to calculate the what? Future value. So we will use our future value formula. Right? So future value formula is equal to the present value times 1 plus I to the n power. We can't go just plugging numbers in here. Why not? Because the interest is more than annual. It's semi-annual. It's every 2 years. So we have to make some adjustments first. Our first adjustment would be with our interest, right? So let's use this formula. Present value is 10,000. That won't change. But let's talk about that interest. That interest is 10, right? But it's semi-annual. So how do we adjust it? What is the rule of thumb? The rule of thumb is we're going to take 10% divided by the frequency. How frequent is the semi-annual? Twice a year. So that gives us 5%. So now our new number is going to be 5. Okay? And we also have to adjust the number of periods as well. We must adjust our number of periods as well. Started out with 10 years, but the interest is happening twice a year. So every year, the interest is happening twice, so this needs to get adjusted. The 10 needs to be multiplied times 2, which will give us 20. And so we'll put the 20 in there. Right? And we'll plug in chug. 1.05 to the 20th power gives us 2.6533. You multiply that times 10,000. And that'll give us 26,533. Okay? 26,533. Now, let's take another example. This time, instead of calculating the future value, let's calculate the present value. Right? Let's calculate the present value. Let's bump this to 12 years. Let's bump this to 12%, and let's change this to monthly. This time we're calculating the present value, so this is the future value given. How will we go by finding a present value? What's our present value formula? Our present value formula is future value divided by 1 plus I to the n power. So again, we have to do some adjustments because the interest is being compounded, actually discounted because we're finding the present value. More than once, it's compounded, discounted how many times? 12 times because it's monthly, every month. So we need to adjust this I. And how do we do it? We take 12% divided by the number of frequency, which is 12. That'll give us a 1%. Okay? However, our years has to be adjusted as well. How are we going to adjust those years? Well, those years need to be adjusted because it occurs on a monthly basis. So in every 1 year, you have 12 times interest is occurring. So we need to multiply that times 12, which will give us that 144. Now we can plug in our stuff. 10,000 is the future value divided by 1.01, which is the new adjusted rate, to the 144th power, right? Let's see what that gets us. Order operations, 1.01 to the 144. That's going to give you 4.1962 divided into the 10. Now, you might want to know, did I purposely forget to not do the chart? I purposely did. Because, for example, look at that number of periods, 144. You will not find that on the chart. So in this situation, for those who are avid chart users, you would have to know either how to use the old school formula or use the financial calculator, which I really do suggest you guys take some time and try to know how to use that. Because if you're in the finance or if you have to take finance classes and stuff, you would definitely have to take advantage of that. All right? The only reason that I'm not going to teach it here is because I don't know what financial calculator you have. I would suggest going with the BA2 Plus. Again, there's several opportunities on YouTube that can show you So we're going to take this 10,000 and divide it into 4.1962. And I got 2,383.1 right there. Okay? And so now you should understand how to calculate both the present value and the future value when interest is either being compounded or discounted more frequent than once a year. And this is where we're kind of going with this chapter. And so you need to work some problems with that, and good luck.